Matty Burton holders, you're absolutely loving this, aren't you? Another great game, a great win from the Panthers, and some good scores from a couple of the guys I spoke about. Like we started with Burton, and he's getting very close to a must-have. It's going to happen at some point. This week would have been a great one. There's obviously a lot of good picks this week with Angus Crichton and these types of guys. If you hadn't had Tohu Harris yet, for example, but yeah, for Burton to come out and really dominate this game, even in a losing side, he really had a great crack. A try, 2 try assists, obviously kicking goals again, and the kick meters and a couple of forced dropouts. Just a real special game for him fantasy-wise, but also having a good crack on the park as well in just general footy terms. So yeah, very, very important player for the rest of the season. Whether you get him now or you wait till, say round 18 now is completely up to you with him not playing in 17, but definitely something to think about with Mr. Matty Burton. Someone I spoke about this week in that must-haves maybe or avoid video was actually James Fisher-Harris, and he comes out with his best game of the season. And this was fairly well expected, a big minute game for him, just to cover for guys like Isaiah Yeo. Fisher-Harris came out with 65 minutes for 68 points there, the 44 tackles and 203 run meters for 64 in base. Pretty incredible. So if you did happen to pick him up, well done, and jump in the comments, guys, if you decided to pick him up. That would be cool to see a few people actually took the advice. I didn't personally, so I went for Crichton instead. Kick out with a good game, obviously, with a try as well. Eisenhuth with his 48 minutes to make 48 tackles is pretty incredible. So he's one of those guys that always scores well when he gets that opportunity in the middle there. Joshy Jackson and Maxi King. So the Jackson one we're really happy with. The 48 in base. So back up to that 41 tackles after 27 last week. That was definitely an anomaly, as we spoke about, that 36 points from him. Just a low base. And this week, much better, obviously, playing the majority of minutes here, there on the edge. And getting 1 tackle break and offload, and also a forced dropout to go along with a line break assist as well. So Joshy, great game for him. And if he can average somewhere in the low to mid 50s, you're going to make a bit of cash from him, and he'll be a keeper for the year who's a dual position guy. So well done to Jacko. Maxi King, the People Squad vice captain. I noticed that was funny. I had a couple of people maybe see my videos for the first time, check out the People Squad, and they were blowing up or asking why the hell Max King has been vice captain. But if you know, the Discord group knows why he's vice. He is the king. But he's been great. I don't see any reason why we should move him on until he happens to lose this position or he gets off the edge or the middle there. I don't see there being any reason why we should not be playing him every week. He's going to average close to 50 over the next bunch and make a bit of cash, and you can move him on in 17 would be my theory around him. Marshall King with 52 was a solid one for him as well. For anyone who has him, there's a small percentage that do. And Curdy Falls was the big one. So kicking goals was a good one there. The kick meters wasn't anything crazy. He does lead around his New South Wales Cup team around. But 32 tackles for 2 misses was spectacular. That 1 kick for the try assist at the start of the game was really nice. And then just, a little bit of everything. The 5 goals, 51 points there. So picked him up in the head-to-head squad. If anyone else did, let me know in the comments as well with Curdy. 2.8% ended up doing it. But he's someone that the hope was a good score in this game, which he ended up having. Great. 14, if we have both Cleary and Luai not back up, there's a chance they don't. Obviously, this win's going to be really helpful for them to be like, oh, we probably don't need to play everyone next week. We can give them a bit of a rest and make sure they're ready and firing in for the finals, because they've been to the grand final 2 years in a row. So there's every chance that they do get rested. Even if they don't, okay, we miss out on him for 14, but hopefully 18 with the potential for Curdy to play. So that was the goal with him. If you have, O'Sullivan there, you got another 49 out of him. There's obviously a small percentage that do, or might have picked him up this week as well. So 49 with his two tries, his 27 tackles, 350 meters was good there. Addo-Carr, tried to do everything he could to, shove it in Freddie's face for not picking him, but he had a nice game with 2 tries, 170 meters, the 4 tackle breaks there. Well done to Addo-Carr. Paulie Vaughan with a lower one. So a few people were like, have you considered Vaughan as a potential pickup? I do, but he's just going to be that mid-45s guy. I don't think he's going to be a keeper. Whereas if you want to spend up that little bit more, go for Crichton, these types of guys. Burton's, all the Torhals as guys to pick. And his role is not going to change over this period, whereas Fisher-Harris' role was going to change. So if guys aren't backing up, if they're getting rested, then Fisher's going to get more minutes, whereas Vaughan's not, for example. If you went for Edwards, you got a try out of him. An okay game overall. Really not many negatives, but not a crazy amount of positives there to get up to that 50 mark. This is what he's going to average. Coruscant's a bit of an issue one. We did get a try assist out of him, but the run meters weren't there, and the 14 in negatives, unfortunately, to go along these 48 tackles, only get a 41 is a bit frustrating with the 80 minutes that you receive from him. So we're hoping for a little bit of a better score from Coro, but he'll be that up and down kind of guy. It was just this week you're hoping for a good one. Taylor May with 39 got his try. Again, really not much in negatives there. You'd like around 200 meters and probably another extra tackle break or two. But he's still, a solid guy that you could have as almost a keeper in the centers, and especially the wing fullback there. So we'll be holding him for a while. Havrillo, a few people end up picking him up. So spent some time at fullback there. He had the 1 line break, 6 tackle breaks, 100 meters, a couple of kick defusals, a couple of forced dropouts as well. So 2 decent scores out of him in a row. And well done if you decide to pick him up this week. You got a decent score out of him at that cheaper price. But, I suppose that's the thing with him. You're definitely going to get him over the next period. But, would you be playing him? Is he just cover? He's definitely going to be more of a cover type of player. All right, we get Fatala Mariner for about 52 minutes. So we thought that was probably more likely, the 50 to 60, rather than him getting 80 in one of his first weeks back. So to get 33 out of him, he's going to make it potentially a tiny bit of money, eventually in the next few weeks. So it was probably this week, or we just don't pick him up at all. And if you did, you don't hate it, but it's not his best score either. Tungo with a nice line break try assist, but again, less on the tackle side and the 144 meters. So we do want him to get some increased scores, but at least in this game, when you don't have Luai, you don't have Cleary, that Tungo and also Taylor May both still happen to score at least over 30, which is ideal. All right, Carraz, of course this is going to happen, right? Like, he looks like an absolute superstar for his first 2 games in the league, and then happens to get a 17 and a 27. So at least it was a 27, not a 17 this week. I'll be happy with that, but generally, 27 is not what we're wanting, and this is what can happen with wings, especially in a bad team. But I suppose we thought that he might have been able to overcome that, just with how great he was in those first, how much of a standout he was in this team the first few games. But I suppose teams start to look at him a little bit more closely, and this is why that second year syndrome is a thing, because everyone starts game planning for guys that do really well. So 27, not ideal, makes a little bit of cash, but his chances of making 150k, I think, have dropped down unless he happens to get a couple of good weeks from here on in. If you held Spencer Lanu this whole time, you only got the 14 minutes, so a lot more minutes for Mr. Fisher-Harris and not for Spencer. So that's really it, guys. If you went for Robert Jennings, you got 19 out of him, so not ideal. But that is it in this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. Good luck with your Saturday game. I know I personally had like 5 players last night and held rank, so hopefully, the next 2 games, there's a few teams with some less players, and we can gain some ranks over the next few days. But overall, hope you enjoyed this. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. See you later.